Freddy Krueger. What up, my nigga? Yeah. Jizza. You know. Razzie. You know. Shout out to my...
What's up, guys and girls, ladies and gents, and people of all worlds? It's your boy Kojay here with another episode of I almost said Source Wall, which, by the way, is another podcast I did to document and promote and discuss things about the Snyder Cut with my boy 44, Parademon number 44, Return the Cool on Twitter. Do check it out. But yes, you are here at Kojay's Corner, a new episode, a special episode, which is very dear to my heart. I like all the episodes, and this one is a good conversation I have with two of my boys who are in the Snyder Cut movement, and they're fans of pro wrestling, as is myself. So this is a one I was looking to tackle because I've used pro wrestling to promote the Snyder Cut movement. And, you know, I just do all the resources. And I'm still doing it with one of my game shows. So I feel pro wrestling is a very unique art form and sport that is a mesh of things. And we go into what it means to us and how it connects with the Snyder Cut movement. Because the Snyder Cut movement there's this other theme of breaking stigmas, breaking boundaries, breaking walls, breaking negative bias criticism. At the same time, pro wrestling has a few stigmas too, where people don't like it for what it is not. And I'm not saying you should like something, but there should be an appreciation to at least not like it or like it for what it is. Essentially, it's like if you could go to medieval times and enjoy it, you can enjoy pro wrestling. And we go into detail about that. But yes, it is a stage performance. It does take athleticism to perform it, and it is a beautiful art form to appreciate that encompasses artistic integrity, and which is the forefront of what the Snyder Cut is about. So for me, it's two worlds, different worlds that make sense when put together, and this is an episode that elaborates on that and reflects that, and I'm happy to share it with you. And this is the first Kojay's Corner that's going to be video. Yes, I'm going to switch it up. That's why there's a black background. So I'm going to try this. Every time you see a white background or a thumbnail for Kojay's Corner, you know it's going to be audio only, and if it's black, it's going to be video. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this. And just to let you know, at the end, there's a bonus end segment where we just kept talking, and I asked the boys if it was okay if I record, because what we shared was something very deep and special. So yeah, I got my boy Miguel Fernandez and my boy Steve Kasan here. Without further ado, let's get into it. Enjoy it, listen to it, watch it, and thank you so much for coming by. Is it recording? It says ... Does that mean it's recording?
I believe so. It says recording.
All right, cool. I can edit the first part out. All right, welcome to Kojay's Corner. The first time we're doing video. I got with me Steve Kasan and with me Miguel. I just always call you Miguel. No last name.
That's my name. That's what it is.
Hey, thank you so much for being here, guys. How you doing today on Today Specially?
I'm doing fine, man. How are you doing?
Crazy day, bro.
I'm
Insane.
just kind of giddy. Now,
What can we say?
Today we're going to talk about pro wrestling. A little intro to people, because I haven't talked about it in my podcast series about pro wrestling in detail yet. But before we do that, because I was going to focus on like pro wrestling and Snyder Cut, start with pro wrestling, going to Snyder Cut. But today is November 17th. We're recording this, and there was a little hashtag trending. It's the anniversary of the birth of the movement. Yeah, I forget. So shoot. Did you guys? Okay, first off, today Zack Snyder he he had his Q&A watch party with his trailer and broke it down. First off, any of you guys want to go first? Did you guys get to see it live?
Oh, I saw it live. I actually caught it. I was at work, but luckily my work allows me to kind of do it. So I was
Hey,
watching it.
lucky.
I watched it, and uh, man, I don't know what to say. I'm pumped. Honestly, I don't know. That's pretty much all I can say for now, man.
Speechless, bro.
Yeah, I feel the
Yeah.
feeling. What about you, Steve? How did you feel?
Same thing. I was at work watching it, and but luckily, first I want to give a big shout out to the guys at Vero, all the ones who handled the stream. They always handled Zack streams and everything. TJ, Yulia, all those cats out there who manage Vero. It's a great platform, and the way they handled the stream was really outstanding because they kept it up. And luckily, they have because usually you have to go on your phone to use the platform, but luckily they put a link out there. You can use it on your desktop or laptop, and that's how I watched it. And
Oh,
hey, look at that!
sorry, I just put
Oh my
Sniper
gosh,
Fighters in
that's
the
me!
background.
Oh, that's you.
Hey.
That's me.
Yeah, so
So
go on.
so big ups to the guys at Vero and for having the accessibility to watch it on my work laptop. Shh, don't tell anyone. So that's the good
Hey,
part about it.
nobody's gonna know.
No one
If they
knows.
do, it's too late.
And
So wait, is this the
yeah,
first time they did that? Where you could watch
I
it?
believe they've
no,
done
no,
it
no, they've done it
before.
before. Yeah, they did it for Zack's Man of Steel watch, the BBS watch, and they've done it a bunch of times. Yeah,
And this one.
but
Dang, all this time I'm watching it on my phone.
Same
no,
here. I
they
mean,
have they
honestly,
had a desktop link.
Oh, see, I got so excited. I was like, "Where's the Snyder?"
yeah, no, I mean,
My
honestly,
Zack,
everybody's
Open
on their
phone was like
phones
heating up,
nowadays.
about to take off.
it's like Zack, where are you?
What? Oh, no, but yo,
No, no,
shoot, he released a lot of cool information during that whole time
yeah, he
too.
did. Yeah,
Maybe a little too much at times.
I
he
like how he
stopped
does.
himself. He stopped himself a couple of times. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yeah. I was about to say that he's very careful. Like he doesn't give a lot of spoilers. I noticed. Like
Like he gets excited, and
yeah.
then it's like,
yeah,
oh,
like when he talks, he's like, "What?
he puts the
Can't say
handbrake
that."
on it, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I do want to be bewildered when, and
Oh, definitely.
I don't know if that's the right word, but I do like to
That's
be like
that's Debbie telling Zack like, yo, shh, no,
Yeah,
don't give
she's on the other side like
I
kicking
believe
him and
she's the
stuff.
one to
yo.
cut the stream this time
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Debbie calls the shots. That's the thing. Deborah is the one.
I was like, he
Hey,
did it again. He done.
it's
He
all
done
good.
cut the stream again.
Zach's the one that wants to tell us everything. Debbie's like, wait a minute, wait, we
Like
still got.
what?
It's called a business, right? We need to
Exactly.
do
Yeah,
business.
I gotta love that woman.
She's the best.
Oh man, uh that's the goal. Have a beautiful, healthy, working, living relationship. You know.
Mm,
Ah,
As kids these days say, goals.
yeah,
goals, yeah.
goals. Is that what the kids are saying? Hashtag
Mm.
goals. Anything of the stream today that you guys liked in particular?
Besides the trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
besides that,
besides the trailer,
Honestly,
or if
just
you want to
hearing
talk about
Zach,
the
man.
trailer.
Just honestly, just Zach, man. The way he's talking about it, and like you can tell he's excited for it. Like he
yeah,
wants us to see it, you know. But he knows that we gotta wait.
Ah,
yeah. I think what Miguel says is true. It's just Zach's excitement because anyone who's been part of this movement, we've seen. Like I remember seeing pictures of Zach back in late 2016, 2017, early 2017, man. And let's be honest, man. Like it didn't look good, man. We all obviously know the reasons why, but
yeah.
all the stress, all the pressure, and everything, and then you see gradually it's like it's like case of Benjamin Bratt, Benjamin Button with Zach.
No,
It's
I
like
see.
things started getting better because more outpouring of goodwill and more of us like uniting and us united, all that. Like it's more than a hashtag. It's actually it's an example of this movement, and you see it now with Zach. Like he looks much better than he was than most anyone his age or even younger than him, right? Like Zach looks,
And he's like 54, right?
yeah.
Shit,
As I always say, like
when I get older, I want to be
I look
like him.
54.
it's like what Razor Ramon said, oozing machismo.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, Rogue. Oh man, that's so good. I like the details of little things, especially the Man of Steel nod with the open pod.
Mhm.
He gave us some little information there that they actually go buy it in the scout ship, like the team,
Yeah.
and they make mention to it.
Yeah, well, when he was talking about that, I got a little scared. I'm like, wait, please, like, leave it at that. Just choose your words wisely. I don't want to, you know, be like, oh, this happened. I was like, oh, I wanted to see it on the movie if it happens, or I was like, ah, just hold it.
Yeah, I think he's good with holding it because we didn't really get too much
Oh yeah,
new stuff
definitely
from the
not.
trailer, which I liked. We got a
But some nice
few,
stuff though.
yeah, nice stuff, and more hints at phenomenal action sequences. I feel
Hmm.
because I feel he doesn't in his trailers he doesn't really spoil action sequences if you notice.
No,
You
it's the
barely
same
see
as the
him.
other one. Technically, it's mostly kind of based on the characters and emotions. I feel, he's
Yeah,
holding I know for a fact he's holding it. He's holding on to the goods till it's released.
yeah. And that shot with Cyborg looking out the window, I don't know if you guys are Michael Jackson fans, but he's got that stranger in Moscow look with the black and white.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
Cyborg like do do do
I
do.
saw it.
Ah, that
I
was kind
saw
of
a lot of people also making the SpongeBob memes about.
Oh yeah.
well, I haven't seen
I
these
was
yet.
like,
I just got off of work.
oh man, you should see those, man. People
Yeah.
are too quick with those.
I know.
I saw one with a Sonic getting hit off of Steppenwolf's armor, and all the rings are coming out like,
Oh, I
he
haven't seen
That's
that
spikes.
man.
one.
That's funny.
I love that one. That's cool.
That's hilarious.
Oh man. Anything else that stood out for you guys you want to share about that?
I think the hologram, the Superman hologram. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
when he's
That's
like
really
shooting
nice.
up. Oh, the
Yeah.
little
Oh.
like
That looks nice.
that looks.
Yeah, even that just holograms. I love Superman. That's cool. And it makes sense too, because you see a light coming from a like a flashlight coming from an angle of that first shot. So it's definitely
Yeah,
from his like third eye kind of position.
yeah, like the
Hmm.
little red eye thing that pops from Cyborg's head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. So yo, Miguel, this is the first time we're showing you to the peoples. Uh,
First time. Yeah. I'm actually really camera shy, so it's the first time I do this. So.
no, thank you so much
Yeah.
for doing it, brother.
You're like a
So
natural, bro. A natural.
you have
It's
an
that
actor
resting
telling you that,
background.
man, a good actor. So
It's
there you go.
the
So here's the thing, Miguel. Let's tell us your story. How'd you get involved with the movement? You know,
uh
feel
well,
free. There's no
honestly,
limit. No limit to my show. Don't worry. We have no time limit. Just go.
no, you're good. Honestly, I just like since I was a kid, I've always watched the movies and I've always gravitated towards action movies. I read comic books and DC has always been my favorite. And when I saw Man of Steel, I gotta be honest. I when I first saw it, the first time when it came out, I went at super late night screening. It was when it was still at 12 p.m. or a.m. whatever it is, and I kind of fell asleep like halfway through it. I was like, damn it! But then I went back and then I saw it. I was like, this is the best thing. I hated myself for falling asleep for like 10 or 20 minutes because
Mm.
I literally I was like so tired at the time. I was like, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it. But Man of Steel came out. I saw it. I fell in love with it. And then came, obviously Batman v Superman. I was happy with the theatrical at the time, but what happened was they said it was funny because I don't know if you guys remember they said like, oh, when it was about to come out and they're like already saying about the DVD is like with extra 30 minutes extra 30 minutes. So I'm like, I don't really want to watch this more than 3 times because that's how many times I saw it at the movie theaters. 3 times, both
Mm-hmm.
Man of Steel and BBS. I was like, I don't want to watch it more than 3 times. I mean, I like it, but I did see the little choppiness of it,
Mm.
and then I was like, okay, it makes sense. Like the third time I saw it, I started seeing like how kind of choppy it was. So I was like, I figured like, is that's why they're promoting the 30 minutes? So I saw the 30 minutes, and I fell in love with it, and I was like super excited with Justice League, as I'm pretty sure you two were. And then unfortunately we heard what happened with Zack Snyder. I was optimistic. I was like, ah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. And the day came, same thing. I saw it the first time, and I gotta say, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then I saw it the second time, and then I was like, yeah, it doesn't feel like Zack Snyder. So, and then the third time I
Mm.
saw, it, I was like, yeah, definitely not. So I was like,
It gets worse.
it gets worse every time. So I was like, yeah, definitely not. So I've always said like there's something more going on. And at the time when John Schnepp, rest in peace, his soul,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
said, I didn't believe him. I was like, it's just full of BS. But then he did say, there's like the whole movie's getting changed, and then there's everything is different. But I didn't want to believe it, because I wanted to be optimistic and I want to be like, nah, this is Zack Snyder's, blah blah blah. And then the movement started to kick in. Like I forgot when I first saw the release of the Snyder Cut. I was like, so this is a thing,
Hmm.
and it was already in 2017, so it wasn't like super long after when I saw it for the third time and when I started seeing it. And I just started posting, release the Snyder Cut, and I ran into you somehow, Kojay,
I forgot
and then
how.
I honestly it was through Instagram for I
Had to
believe.
be. Had to be. That's
It
my
had to
main
be,
hub.
yeah. Like I kept posting, and then I think you liked one of my posts, so I went into yours. I went into your feed, and then I saw it. We followed each other, and it just kept on going, kept on going. You know, all my friends just kept asking me like, "What is all this shit you're posting about the Snyder Cut? What is this?" And then, well, at the time, I was just giving them the info that started to come out. It wasn't much at the time because we didn't know as much as we know now, obviously.
Right.
But it's just it just started like that, just going on Instagram, Twitter, and seeing other people's posts and kind of doing some research on my own and hearing podcasts here and there, and then just here we are.
No, but you do work, man, because you told me you're the man in San Jose when I was coming to see the show.
Yeah, well,
And
technically San Francisco, but San Jose is like all this area here.
all right, but the whole sand, you got the sand, man, up north.
The sands,
You
yeah.
got the sand up north, and because it's true. When I went, because Steve, he works for what? You work for Pro Wrestling Revolution, right?
I
Oh
trained with them,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
I trained
trains.
for them.
What?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
well,
This
What?
is why I want to get you guys on.
Oh
So
shoot.
he told me
Shoot.
about a house show. I call it indie show, whatever.
Hmm.
it's
And
a
I went
show.
up to see it because I was like, dude, I'll drive. I gotta see this. I
Yeah,
love
it was
Meet
it
and
was
Greet.
it was one of our biggest shows that we actually do.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Dang! Oh, that was a good first one.
So
And
so those are the biggest shows we do. So it's like a little. Oh, it's not little technically because we do work with New Japan and all that stuff. But
dude, tell Steve the card, please. Tell Steve the card.
what card? Sorry, I'm like lost.
No, the
Which
card
one?
of the show I went to.
Oh, the card. Oh, like the So we had
Doesn't have to be in order. You guys had a lot.
well, I'm just gonna tell him the main event. I believe it was it Psycho Clown?
Psycho
Was
Clown.
was it Psycho Clown? Yes. Tejano Jr. and versus Papo Esco, which is a in-house groom super wrestler, and his partner. I honestly forgot his name, but for the most part, those were the biggest names that we had at the show. But also Cain Velasquez. He wasn't scheduled, but he decided to show up,
Hmm.
and then I had to play security for him. So
Hey, you did. And thank you. You got me to visit him, meet him. I was like,
hey, you're welcome. I did what I could, man.
yeah,
Just don't tell
man.
him I might get in trouble.
I've already tweeted it. So
Ah.
it's done. No, for a
Ah,
while ago.
shit.
That shows how many people. So you're good.
Oh jeez.
Um, but yeah, that was great because I want to say is that you do good for the Snarka, man, because word of mouth is so powerful.
Mhm.
Because by the time I got there and is in line, they saw me because I had my Snarka gear on. You know, you saw me, right? And then
I
people in
have
line were
mine
like,
on
"Oh,
too.
it's the Snyder Cut guy." Or the
Yeah.
Snyder Cut guys. And then people who work the event and people who come in were all asking me like, "Yo, when's the Snyder Cut coming out?" I was like, "Why are you asking me? I'm trying to petition it to come out." But
Like,
people
I'm
were
just trying to
hyped.
enjoy
There
the
was like
show.
so much like awareness and love for the Snyder Cut in this
Mhm.
venue, and I was like, "Oh, that's
We
Miguel."
we just do our part.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't seem like it, but obviously, I guess you do make people aware one way or the other with there being annoying them with the posts, but with that annoyance, it comes questioning and it just grows. So I
It's
see it as
either
a win-win.
annoying or I call it a knowing. You're annoying.
Oh,
You're
that's a good
getting
one. I'm gonna
unknowingly.
steal it from you. I'm gonna steal it from you.
Use, steal it, spread it around. But it's really
But
cool. I like that love. Now,
whatever it takes to
Steve.
get the
Oh,
word out.
oh,
Hmm.
hell yeah. Any
Yeah.
moment that could be a big pal is important. That's why I brought my signs, and you all know that. But
Hmm.
now that we say we're a little bit wrestling, Steve, please introduce to Miguel how you got into the movement
Oh
and
my
what you do
gosh.
as an actor.
Uh, okay,
Spill the tea.
first, I am an actor in Toronto, and
Ooh,
been doing it for I would say close to 10 years now, or more than 10 years. Been going at it, and
nice.
how I got into the movie, well, I don't like it. Kind of how I got into like supporting Zack. I think
Mm,
the genesis of it was after Watchmen, and I remember going on Screen Rant before it was when it was something. Before the old guys, Vic Holterman and Kofi Outlaw and all those guys. If anyone watching remember those names. And I remember Watchmen came out, and I see everyone hating Zack about it, and I chimed in, on the message boards, which is a mistake. Never go on message boards. Never
I try
comment on
not to.
message boards.
you jumped in with the wolves.
Exactly. You jump into jumped into a battle royale. It's like, no, this is like, don't you see what Zack is doing? Don't you see the use of Hallelujah and all the 99 Luft balloons? It's to invoke the era of the 80s and the time, right? Like, what's wrong with you idiots? And then came Man of Steel. I remember everyone who saw it started poking fun at it and saying this sucks, and I'll never forget. Everyone uses the same phrase, "wanton destruction." I'm like, what? Everybody used the same phrase. It's like when bloggers used "dangerous president" most recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
About Snyder cut,
It's
and
that
it's
monkey
like,
see, monkey do.
yeah, it's
Mm.
like, did you guys gang up together to put out the same thing? And when I saw Man of Steel, it totally changed my mind. It's like, this is how you do Superman, and then everyone started hating Zack, and then BVS came in, that ramped everything up. It's like, what's wrong with you all? Like, this movie's incredible. I was totally blown away. I've seen these two movies 5 times each at the theater, and I'm just blown away each time at it.
Beat
And
me
I
by
still
two.
love the theatrical cut of BVS because that movie is that's cut is special because that really united us the first time, right?
Mm.
It brought everyone together and started finding each other, right? And then came Justice League. I remember I got a special. I won. I was lucky enough to win like a special advance screening on the 14th, and I
Lucky.
and I posted a memory about it. I posted it on Instagram. Man, I was so excited to see this movie. I was giddy. It was like, my goodness, I was mad. This is like my first time seeing WrestleMania 6 at the Sky Dome. I was like, my gosh, this is like me seeing Hogan and Warrior. This is like that same excitement. And then the movie started. It's like, okay,
Hundred
what's
to
going
zero
on
real
here?
quick, huh?
Right, because nobody knew, right? Nobody knew, like, because you got Zach's message about having to leave and trusting Joss with his notes,
Mm.
and at the time
hmm
say, okay, Joss, let's okay. No matter what anyone thinks, Joss is still a good filmmaker. He made Serenity, right? He made that Shakespeare film. I think it was with Nathan Fillion. It was really good. And no matter what you say, he created Buffy, and Dollhouse has his fans and everything. So he is talented. So I thought, okay, this is going to be cool, right? And then and now we should know better about his character and everything. But it can't dismiss. But as soon
Assholes
as
can
we
be
learn,
talented too.
that's true. Like like Hogan is one of the most recognizable names in pro
Oh,
wrestling in entertainment. But
You already know.
but
I know where you're going with this.
But he's not
you
really
know
the most
you know what
worldly.
I'm so but yeah, and then you got Jeff Johns, right? Like he's can't take away
Man,
how many great stuff he's written. He's written some great ideas, some great stories, but As Kojay said, assholes can be talented too. So then, so then the next day, or I went on Twitter, I started finding people. It was kind of like we were all Ronin, right? And then we all banded together,
I
and
think
there's
that's a
still
perfect
Ronin out there.
word, Ronin. We were.
Like ever since this whole Us United thing started ramping up, and I won't, I won't BS. You got sides. I'm all over the case and everything. But when you think about it,
I call them clubs.
yeah, you got clubs. But when you really think about it, one of the main movies Zack based Justice League around was Seven Samurai. And if any of you have seen that movie, or anyone watching us or listening has seen that movie, the basic idea was that a village gets raided by bandits. They go out to find Ronin. They band together as samurai to come save the village. And in the end, some of the samurai are fallen, some of the samurai live, and they leave the village. But the thing is, they did the job, and the village thrives. So now, if you think about it, who is the village here? Who are the bandits, and who are the Ronin that came together, you know, to form an alliance to help save the village? And in the end, the village survives, the village thrives on, the bandits have been demolished. Some Ronin fell, some Ronin stayed in the village, and some Ronin move on their way. But they made some partnerships, and that's what this movement is. Now that the movie's
Exactly.
coming out, you know, and the result is that the village is happy. And if you know who the village is, and you see how happy he is, especially today, then the job is done. So I think to all of us, good job, guys.
Yeah,
Well
well
done.
said, man. Well said.
Well done.
Because about the clubs, I mean, I don't want to take part in it, but I do acknowledge I see it, and we
Yeah.
all know everyone has people connected to it in some shape
Hmm.
or form or some level,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think it will hopefully work its way out
Yeah.
because it's all personal, and
But the end of the day, the
and
village is thriving, the village is
mm-hmm,
happy, and that was the main goal, right? That was the main job
yeah,
to
because
make
when I
sure the
listen
village
to,
is happy.
oh, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, because to add on to what you're saying, when I listened to Zach, I remember because when I went to SnyderCon, I knew nobody. I probably knew two
Hmm.
people before going in, but not
Hmm.
even as well as I know them now. And honestly, it was just like art school for me. The
Yeah.
teacher is there, and I'm just taking notes of someone else's work in my mind and heart. And when I saw the Grace Randolph video and how he was talking now here in this for today, just remind me is like, I'm doing this, everything else is extra. It's beautiful if it's extra, but I do remember
Yeah.
I started on this alone, as many of us did. And that little gleaming moment of inspiration to go embark on this alone. Like some
Hmm.
people are lucky to do this with friends, but I know a lot of us have started at this alone. That little
Yeah.
Yeah.
leap of faith to take and that reason to leap of faith is still there, you
Hmm.
know? So why not take that reason, remember that reason, and then use that to kind of find your way to find answers with every problem going on.
Hmm.
Because, it didn't really go away. In fact, it got rich.
Yeah.
It grew, and it's glowing, and it's awesome. So I
And
think,
there's still Ronan out there that we'd have, like Miguel. I never knew about you ever since until Kojay's post, like two
Yeah.
days ago.
Yeah.
So
Same here.
so there's still Ronan out there. There's still a lot of us that participated for Zach in this movement that nobody knows. But if you seek them out, you'll find them, and
and
they're
that's
all
what I'm
there.
going to do from
Yeah.
now on.
Appreciate it.
I think that's going to be great because you guys are awesome. Not just
Thank you.
that, but you two in particular, because you guys are like my closest. Well, there's others, but yeah, you guys are one of my closest pro wrestling fans too.
Here we go.
Huh. Now I think that's totally 100% artistic integrity, huh?
Yep.
So yeah. So okay, I do want to get this out of the way.
What I
Please
do now.
respond to when people are like, wrestling's fake. Whoever
Uh,
wants to go first, tell me why that's BS.
well,
Your face.
man, I
Explain why
just
that.
I,
Yeah.
I just tell them get in the ring and find out. It's easy to say. It's easier said than done, as they say, or something like that.
Because you
You
train,
can
right?
say, yeah. You know, you
Ah.
get in the ring, run the ropes, do a few of the workouts, see if those are fake. Do a little bit of the bumps, and then
Now,
you'll
for the
see.
people who do not know, what is the bump?
A bump. Okay, so a bump is pretty much to learn how to fall in the ring, to so you don't get injured as much, because it doesn't matter. As WWE says, don't try this home. There's a reason. No matter how professional you are, one mistake can lead to a serious injury, or even in some sad cases that we've seen recently, death.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That on its own is, I don't think that's fake. So that by itself should say everything that it needs to be said.
Mm.
Uh, and then if they don't get that concept, I'm like, you watch TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the guy that got shot is dead? I just leave him with that, because it's I do get that wrestling is a weird thing to get into for for newbies, for people that don't know what it is. For us, it's just natural. We know what it is,
Mm.
but for people, they're like, that's the go to. It's fake, but it's not. It's definitely not. I can tell you that from experience. It's definitely not.
Mm.
My body has gotten bruised from that, so that's definitely not fake. But I mean, honestly, I try not to argue with people like that, because
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to make them understand if they don't want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm.
they're so stuck in their own their opinion, it's kind of hard to get them out of it. I
Mm.
I try to tell them, I mean, there's a difference between fake and predetermined, which is obviously what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But just because it's predetermined doesn't mean that it's gonna go the way it's supposed to. As in 90% of the cases, it is. What
Mm.
happens? you know, uh, you get chopped in the chest, you get heated. You know, the receipts, as they call them.
Mm.
Those hurt more than anything. So I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like I said, it's a weird sport, because it is a sport.
Yeah.
Even if people don't think it is, it's definitely a sport. But it is a difficult concept to, uh, what is the word, to put out, to make them understand.
Yeah.
Mm. How about you, Steve?
Everything what Miguel says is true, especially Miguel being a worker. Like, if you want to, if you're saying it's fake, well, run the ropes. I remember, I think I told you this, Kojay, was that when filming Dark Side of the Ring, they got
Which, by the way, he's
they
in.
Oh,
Miguel.
okay.
Oh, me?
I'm trying to get these done.
Uh, so so we had a local promotion come set up the ring, and I just came in and just run the ropes. No, they hurt. When you take a bump, it hurts. It's like setting up the ring is just floorboards and it's a mat. And it's a thin layer of mat. And if you want to see what a ring is, go look at the best example, the recent AEW Omega versus Moxley match from Full Gear last year. They pull they pull the mat out, and you see the floorboards, and you see Kenny do a was a 450 splash onto the boards, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that hurts. These are floorboards. Understand? Now that's coming from the worker side and also the athlete side. It does hurt. Also, if you listen to, I remember Edge talking about every time he hit the mat, it's like getting a car crash because of the whiplash and everything.
Oof.
So
Yeah.
it hurts. That and also when you hear Stone Cold talk about you got to get your body ring ready because take the bumps, then your body understands how to get the hits. And also
Yeah,
me being
definitely.
an actor, and I have done stunts. Wrestling also helps you in that wise because you are doing stunts, you are taking bumps, you're taking falls. Have to learn how to properly fall. You have to understand how to properly, right? and wrestling teaches you that. We have the Santino School in west of Toronto, and you can go learn the beginning of the stunts. It's a good way to learn everything like that. Now, from the actor side of me, pro wrestling, is that you're saying it's fake. Well, okay, but recently, like let's take today's topic of Snyder Cut. Comic books are fake, but you're telling me to go kill myself because I support Snyder's take of Superman. It's like,
Oh,
okay,
good. Mm,
right? You know what I'm
good
saying? It's
point.
like you're telling
Very
me,
good point.
comic books, Batman isn't real, but you're telling me Batman doesn't kill and telling me no, 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 all this and what Snyder did is wrong. We are talking about a fictional character, right? So why are you getting so heated at me over something that's fictional? But the thing is with wrestling is that these are real people. These are real athletes. These are real performers. These are individuals. And going back to Dark Side of the Ring is that it exposes the individuals. It exposes who these people are because it does take a toll on them, right? Like you get I can't imagine going into the ring and have so many people, whether it's like 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people cheering you on, chanting your name, the adrenaline rush. Like for a moment of time, you're king. For a moment of time, you're a queen and you're someone special, and everyone's eyes is on you. It's theater and wrestling. It's this weird paradigm. It's this weird thing where it mirrors society. When you look at characters in the 80s, the 70s, the 90s, all these like flamboyant characters, or let's say Macho Man Randy Savage, like how much this individual has influenced people watching him. When you look at it at hip hop, right, and you look at music artists, especially from how they wear their clothes, their aviators and everything. Look at Stone Cold, how much he represented the working class against Vince McMahon. Look at Hulk Hogan, like back in his run, the Real American, and getting the ultimate baby face. It's just mirrors the society and mirrors us. It's a psychological thing that wrestling attaches itself to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're middle class, medium, low class, or even high class. If you latch onto a story, latch onto characters, latch onto saying, "Oh, that this character represents me," then a story's played out into the ring. It's this thing where we all connect to it. So saying it's fake in some ways, but saying it's real is saying a lot. And wrestling, it balanced this thing of being predetermined but being also too real. Because and if you look at storylines, if you look at a storyline from say back in an Attitude Era or even back in Nitro, you can see how that parallels even say politics or even anything. Wrestling, I always had this expression of wrestling mirrors life, and if you look into it, if you really pay attention to it, wrestling gives you answers. It's a weird thing to say, especially if you think it's so taboo, but it's real. As Kurt Angle said, it's damn real.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Because my whole thing is like, if that's the reason to not like it, then that's the reason to not like a lot of things. And
Mm,
it's kind of like a petty reason. I would prefer people say, that's not my thing, you know? But
Mhm.
I don't like it because it's fake. Seems like there's like, okay, you don't get it. It's kind of like you're entertaining an ignorance. Like,
This is
hate
like
it for what it
like
is, not for what
movies
it's
or
not.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like, like fake, like even wrestling, they say in like WWE, they have a disclaimer if you rewatch any of their videos. It says the actors, the characters do not represent the actors portraying them. It's like,
hmm
boom, there you go, right? I might hurt some Mark's feelings, but whatever. But the
my
thing is,
feelings.
the thing is that okay, it is predetermined. It is staged. There's a storyline. There's whatever. However, the athleticism
hmm
required to perform takes an athletic skill and talent, and also when you're working with someone, because a lot of the stuff that goes on in the ring is improvised. Some matches, the whole thing is improvised. All they know is who's going to win, and then they make it up as they go through uh, signals, physical and verbal. You know what I mean? And you guys know that.
Yep.
But a lot of
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
do
of
not know
course.
that. And then to me, it's like an art form that uses
Oh,
athletics. And the
definitely.
best way I could say that
It's
makes it
definitely an art form.
exactly. The best way I could say what makes it a sport is like figure skating and other
Yeah.
athletics that are judged on form and performance and precision. Goes same with wrestling because your form and precision is being tested live for the audience and the promoters who are essentially judges. And then depending on how good work you do, they push you. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
do have to
definitely.
earn it, and that's athletic.
Oh,
Now I say it's an art because you do have the story element, whether there's a big story or a story of the day, heel face, or just how the match happens, and that's artistic as well. So I feel pro wrestling gets confuses people because it's actually a beautiful fusion thing of athletics and art, and in
Hmm.
my opinion, it's got the most highest artistic integrity. And the best way I could say that anyone, if you enjoy, like, let's say medieval times,
Yeah.
that's the same thing. It's predetermined. But you take horse trainers, you take swordsmen, you take fencers, all these people who have athletic training putting on a show, you know? And if you can enjoy that, then you can enjoy pro wrestling. But it's okay. I just want people to appreciate it for what it is and not hate it for what it isn't. I'm not saying people have to
Mhm.
like it. I just don't like the ignorance behind the thing, And it
oh,
downplays because how many actors really do their own stunts? All pro wrestlers do their
yeah,
own
exactly.
stunts. You know what I mean?
And a
They
lot
have
of things.
prize merit.
One thing that a lot of people don't know, it's we've had a lot of wrestlers be stunt performers for those famous actors. They
Mm.
just
Mhm.
don't talk about it because doesn't they don't really pay attention to any of that, or they don't care
I
because they
think they're
don't.
still trying to sell their product because if they advertise stunt people, then people are less likely. Because I think in entertainment, the more they could sell the product, the better. If they could think, "Ooh, the actor did everything," cool. Let's be quiet. Let's be quiet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the
Put them
thing.
at the
Because
bottom of the credits, you know.
Yeah.
But I would like to see more attention to stunt people because people are a lot more intelligent. But still,
Mhm.
people like to sell the idea like, "Oh, Chris Evans did everything,
yeah,
Ucha,"
no,
Like
definitely
put
not.
Will Ospreay in that, and he'll do everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Now, uh, what are you guys? What's like your most prominent moments of being a wrestling fan, and what got you guys into being wrestling, and what does wrestling mean to you? Whoever wants to go first, go for it. Just open your heart up, please.
Nah, I'll take a little time. Trying to
How
Okay.
think.
about you, Steve?
Um.
It's so,
Did you ever think about being a wrestler, Steve?
Yeah,
'Cause
I
you're in
did.
great
I did.
shape.
That was one of the things. I always wanted to be a wrestler. I don't know, something never made me want to go out and train. But
Mm-hmm.
luckily, through Dark Side of the Ring, I got to pretend to be a wrestler. So kind of a wish fulfillment there. But
No, no, I feel that. That's what I do with my video games.
so so,
sorry to
but
interrupt you, Steve.
no, no,
It's
go,
a
go.
question. What did you do on Dark Side of the Ring, and which episodes were you on, so I
So
can check them out?
I could technically I'm in most of the episodes. Like the thing is, they blur the reenactment
Uh,
segments.
yeah, yeah, okay.
But if you see my shape and my head and everything, then you know I'm in this episode. In terms of wrestlers, I've reenacted as Sabio Vega for the Brawl for All one. I
Ooh,
reenacted
okay.
as Sabu just walking by. That was like a
Oh,
dream
so that
come true.
was
If you,
you.
yeah.
Interesting.
But all
Awesome.
these like other wrestlers you see, or maybe if people who are let's say wrestlers in the background, EMT guys, police guys, like
Okay.
people to fill the background. So
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it.
I think I always make the joke that anytime there's a conspiracy happening, I'm part of it. So so
Perfect
so,
Snyder material.
so hey,
so it's like
I'll look for
the
all the
Bruiser
conspiracy
Brody's.
theory episodes, and then you'll be
Yeah.
there.
So maybe Bruiser Brody's death, the whole thing with Jimmy Snuka and everything,
Dude,
like
that
all the
that Bruiser
conspiracy
Brody
episodes.
episode was lit. Nah, I'm not gonna
That
lie,
was the
that Bruiser
pilot.
Brody episode.
That was the
Yeah, that
pilot
Bruiser
episode.
Brody.
That was the first one. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Now season 3 is coming back, and there'll be some good episodes on that too. I think.
Now, since you work in that, have you seen Chavo around? Because I know he's like the producer or something like that. He's a
Uh,
producer,
I know he
Chavo
helped. He
Guerrero.
really helped with the Benoit Guerrero episode,
Yeah.
which
Mm.
Oh
was
man,
that was the two-parter, first
that
one.
was an intense,
Man,
intense
I
Yeah,
cry
episode.
on that
man,
one even now.
crazy. I played. I was telling Kojay, and when the first like podcast interviews I did was on Lightcast, and I talked about I played the cop who had to console the kid playing Daniel, telling him
Oh,
that Benoit like passed away.
passed away. Yeah.
But the thing is, we were watching their interview, right,
Hmm.
of Daniel. No, is it Daniel or who?
Daniel's
The
no, Daniel's the
living,
one that passed away as well. Sadly, I think it's
yeah,
David, right?
David, yeah.
David, yeah.
So
David.
we
Yeah.
were watching David's interview and him talking about it, and I loved Benoit, right? It's like he was my guy, like every
It's
because Benoit was a great worker, right? And
he's the best, one of the
oh my
best,
gosh,
if not the
and
best.
Yeah, have you seen their Japan
In
shows?
terms of
yeah,
in terms
yeah,
of
it's
technical wrestling, I put
mhm.
Eddie, Benoit,
Malenko.
and
Oh,
Malenko. Who else?
it's
There's this very famous Mexican wrestler. Probably never heard him.
was
Negro Navarro. He's really really. He's
mhm.
a mat wrestler. He's like a mat
Yeah, yeah.
wrestler.
I remember was there was Hayabusa was also there,
Uh,
and Sasuke, and
Sasuke, the great
great
Sasuke.
Sasuke, yeah,
Yeah.
man. And oh, there was this one guy, Ultimo Dragon. I loved Ultimo Dragon.
Oh,
That guy was
little
a bomb.
secret. I know him. So
Oh yeah. Oh shoot.
yeah, we
Oh,
work
all
with
right.
him.
Now it's your time to talk. I'm just kidding.
Yo.
You do your thing. I know my people too. So
But yeah, so like
great
doing that
acai. Yeah.
and like doing that scene, like, so I know Chava was really big into that episode because he connected everyone, especially with Vicky, and getting everyone to talk about, because they do all their interviews and such.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So so that was my but to get back into pro wrestling, what I got into it, the thing is that
sorry
me,
for taking you off
no no no
course.
no no no
No,
no
no, there's no
great
rules.
tangent, man.
Yeah.
Talk about these legends, bro. But for me, getting into wrestling, because I got into acting and everything and performing, I always go to wrestling if I needed a character, right? Like for me, my go-tos when I have to play a bad guy is Jake the Snake, Stone Cold, and Randy Orton, Psycho Randy Orton, because what they did is their work is when, especially Randy Orton, when he got into that psycho mode against Triple H, and when he punted Stephanie and all that, it was really
Ooh.
it was
Back in the
really
day
something.
when
Yeah, you can see it in his eyes, right? Like he was really zoned
he was
into that.
on it.
That's one of my
And Jake the
sister's
Snake,
favorite moments, man.
yeah, Jake the Snake is like, as a bad guy, especially when he turned really evil. The time when he slapped Elizabeth and he snaked a Macho Man.
Oh, the snake. Oh yeah.
Oh, yo, that was when it was really evil. Oh, that time it was like, if you want to understand characters and especially how they conduct themselves, especially as bad guys, like I always looked at that. Then also as a performance wise, that's what got me into wrestling, right? And that's what me understanding, okay, I have to not only work the camera, but you're also working the crowd too. So that's the thing about workers, like with Miguel and all everyone else. You're working on camera and you're working theater.
So you gotta be
So
focused on
yeah,
like
so
5 different things at once.
yeah, and when you're doing
It's
a
tough.
promo, right? Kojay knows this. There's a difference between theater acting and on-camera acting, because the slightest little thing you do for on-camera is a lot. But for theater, you have to project. You have to be grand and everything as such. Wrestlers do both. They gotta play to the camera, and you gotta play to the
To the
crowd.
crowd.
You gotta play not to the ringside area. You gotta play to the people in the cheap seats, as Scott Steiner used to say. DDP country,
Hmm.
remember that? so
Mhm.
that's what helps me as an actor when I watch wrestling, especially now without there's no crowds, especially in WWE if you
Oh man,
watch. Now
I've
you
been watching
really
the,
have
the the
to,
shows and I'm like, how are they doing it, man? It's like
right? It's
I
like
don't know if I could
now
be
you really have to think.
like the
You
match
really have to
process.
sell
It's
it.
fine, but the process of getting the crowd,
Hmm.
like the moment, the adrenaline from the crowd. It's really tough, man. I take my hats off to those guys.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you're missing another player in the game, the audience. Because we're
Exactly.
part of it. That's
Yes.
a cool thing.
Makes your
Yeah.
job like 10 times even harder than what already is.
Yeah, it's funny because I
So
saw one of the Stardom matches shows back before COVID hit here, and I
Yeah.
was like, why is This was around January because they were starting to have problems over there, and it was like an empty audience. I was like, why? This is weird. Is there a holiday I didn't know? What's going on? Or is
Hmm.
this a special?
And then
Granted,
2020 is like, here's why.
yeah. But they still sold it, and they even took the match into the into the audience. There was no one there, and they threw one of the characters down. But they sold it. That was a Hana Kimura performance too. But
Oh,
God bless her soul. And yeah, it's just like how they still carried themselves was so, because as you watch the show again, because that's one of the earlier ones without an audience, you see the
yeah.
wrestlers actually look to each other and really push each other harder to really go
Yeah,
bigger
like
for
I was like,
wherever the audience
I
is.
feel like, oh man,
It's just like
I
it's
like I said, I don't know how they do it, man. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I, like I
it's
get,
kind of interesting because they're being tested right now in a way of their
yeah,
skills in
definitely.
another way. Mm.
It's just like, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough thing to do.
So what got you, Miguel, to start training?
To start training, well, this let's go
Because you're
back
the one
to.
living the dream that we, me and Steve Kasan are like,
Well,
miss.
right now it's on hold. Right now it's on hold because of COVID.
Of
But
course.
yeah, what got me into wrestling, honestly, it's I mean, ever since I can remember, I've been into wrestling. I remember waking up um, early in the mornings in Mexico. Sunday mornings they used to play Mexican wrestling over there, lucha libre. I always remember going to
Triple
the
A or
kitchen,
CML?
grab what was it?
Was it Triple A or CML or something else?
Both. Back in the day, it was first AAA, and then after AAA, it was like
Yeah.
CMLL. So I would watch both of them. I remember waking up in the mornings, getting myself a little soda or milk, glass of water, going to the living room, boom, we'll start watching wrestling. Uh, I've also been into a lot of like boxing since my dad was a semi-pro boxer, so I've been
Hey.
into contact sports. But I honestly, ever since I can remember, I've been into wrestling. It's always been a thing of mine. Obviously, grew up watching lucha libre, and it's just came to the U.S. and started watching WWE, WWF at the time because I still got it as when it was WWF. Obviously,
Yeah.
I saw WWF back in Mexico. Uh, they played like old matches, like behind, like way behind, like they would play like 80s, 90s, and we were
Hmm.
like early 2000s. Because back in the days, like it was hard to get like on to the up to date, television from here in
No, it's
Mexico.
true. Even Sri Lanka, when went to Sri Lanka first in like no. When I went there a third time in like the late '90s, they were showing stuff from early '90s that I remember
Yeah.
watching growing
Yeah,
up.
yeah. So that's how much that's pretty much how I got into wrestling, and I I lived in Mexico City, so there's like we used to live like 10 minutes away from La Arena Mexico and Arena Coliseo, which is the biggest CMLO. There's the Cathedral of Lucha Libre, as they call it.
Hmm.
So I would always go there every other week. My dad would get me like the outfits. He knew like what is it called? The people that do the outfits. He would have them make them on my size,
Hey.
and then that's how I started to get to know the wrestlers because they would like see me dressed up and they would pick me up, take me to the ring as they were entering. And then like that, I started to meet a lot of wrestlers. Lucky me, I met Rey Mysterio when he
Mm.
was still in WCW, like ECW.
Wow.
Psychosis, pretty much
Oh.
everybody that was in WCW, I've met.
Mm.
um, yeah, they were in this promotion called Promo Azteca, which is long over
Yeah.
gone.
Hmm.
Then that's pretty much I've always I don't know how to describe I've been into wrestling. It's just always been a part of what I am in a way. I've always watched wrestling, boxing, but it's just been everything. Like in school, I would be trying a Rey Mysterio's mask on with the pencil, and my teachers were like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Oh, sorry." And actually start doing the work, so to speak. Yeah, it's just been lucha libre has always been. I would say it's not in my blood because well, technically my dad did try to be a wrestler at some point, but he got hurt and then he quit.
Ah.
But it's always been in my blood to get into the contact sports aspect of it, and then yeah, and just watching old WWF stuff, WCW, ECW stuff.
Hmm.
of course, Japanese wrestling. It's very well known in Mexico, obviously. CMLL has a partnership with New Japan, so
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
superstars come and go, and then that's pretty much it, man. I was like, I honestly don't know what else to say because it's always been a part of my life, personal life, that it's hard for
Yeah.
me to describe how I got into it. It's just
Yeah,
from what I
yeah.
remember, I've always loved wrestling. It's I can't explain it in a way, even though I just did.
That's the same with me too. I don't remember
Yeah.
the first time I got into wrestling or what I watched or whatever. I just know it was part of my life. I couldn't let it go. I had toys. I would watch like everything. I don't remember what exact time got me into it or who I saw, but it was always part of my life. It's hard to describe. It's something. It's always there. This thing about wrestling.
Yeah. It is always there because for me, I could tell when I got heavily into it is because pretty much Rey Mysterio's career as it went
Mhm.
on is how I grew into more wrestling. It was always in the background for me. I
Yeah.
was more video games and martial arts, but there's a crossover there because in martial arts they taught us break falls. We
Mhm.
had to do live performances where some of it was choreographed, and to get
What
more.
kind of? Oh, sorry, Kojay. What kind of martial arts were you into? Like, is
Oh,
there obviously?
I studied traditional Hungar and Chole Fut, but the master
Mhm.
was also a fan of JKD, so he taught us a lot of Jeet Kune Do theory.
Oh,
So it
nice.
was a
Okay.
mix of
Yeah,
both.
there's literally thousands of different martial arts. That's why.
Yeah, so it was cool because I know, right? Because the first 2 hours of school was the traditional stuff, and then we
Mhm.
had an extra hour of sparring class, which was more of the Jeet Kune Do thing, and where we the first time I got punched in the face for training was the first day I entered that, and it was from my master. He knocked me in the head. He's like, "All
Sorry
right,
about
this is
that.
gonna be real now." I was like, "Whatever," just like because usually in the technique videos you see online, someone's like, "Huh," and someone's like, "Okay, watch this." You
Mhm.
go, "Huh." Then you do this, and then you got him. But the person's like holding their fist still for like 3 seconds. That's not real life. So then I was used to that. So then when he hit me, it was like, "Oh, this is real." It was a good mix of putting reality with the art. And
Mhm.
anyways, but as I got older in life and got into film and stuff, older I got and following Rey Mysterio's career, uh, I started to love wrestling even more because when I'm working with actors as a director, honestly, one of the frustrating things I have is like sometimes actors don't even know how to run right. It's like they
Mhm.
never ran before, and then I'm like, shoot, I need your character's jogging. I need you to run, go, and then they go and then I twisted my ankle, you know. And sorry for that one dude who did that one day, but
If he's
it's like I
watching.
see these wrestlers and they remind me of like the Chinese actors in the red trousers, who train
Yeah,
in
yeah.
song, singing, martial arts, and acting. They could do it all. And I feel that triple threat factor, well, minus the singing part, um, I think wrestlers really attain what a lot of actors should have, an awareness of physicality, And I feel that's an art that's being missed because, they shoot around it. But like you said, Steve, it does resemble a lot of life. Like some characters, they come from like some area that's close from where you're from, or they have a style, and then you're like, you get to see how that story manifests in a physical way.
Yeah.
So yeah, wrestling is totally a metaphor in life and all that I love. Yeah, it's good stuff. And wrestling for life. Lucha Libre is my favorite style. Do you guys have any favorite styles, or just love it all? Any promotion
Technically,
you
I
like right
I
now?
do love it all, but like I said, it's always been lucha libre is the number one. Of course, the WWE style back in the day, because they've changed their style in recent times.
Mm,
Mhm.
There's reasons since Owen Hart's
Yeah.
passing and
yeah.
things like that. They've had to change their style. But of course, I guess it's Mexican lucha libre and the Japanese style, which is not just a lot of people just think of it as strong style, but it's
No.
there's more than strong style. They have their
Strong
own
style,
style.
Joshi.
Yeah, it's always been Mexican, Japanese, and the U.S. style for the most part, but it's always been lucha libre is the top. For me, as uh as they say, the Mexican wrestling is the best wrestling in the world. according
Mhm.
to lucha libre people. And there is some truth to it because a lot of Japanese wrestlers go to Mexico to learn, and it's just like a thing. Mexican wrestlers go to
We got
U.S. to
Los
learn.
Ingobernables, right?
Yeah, so it's just like a whole little circle. People from Mexico to go to Japan and the U.S. and people from U.S. go to Japan, and
Naito.
it's just like yeah. But it's always been lucha libre, the high flying. Mostly it's the chain wrestling for me for the most part.
Mm.
Surprisingly, I just love the art form of the chain wrestling. Like I said, the guy, his name is Negro Navarro. Is like he's one of the best chain wrestlers in Mexico that I know of, in my personal opinion.
Hell yeah. What about you, Steve?
It's hard to pinpoint one because I like if you ask my top five wrestlers, it would go like from Jushin Thunder Liger to Sting to Eddie Guerrero to even now to Penta now, and it's like so there
That's
Arn
insane.
Anderson. I love
Mm.
Arn Anderson, and like there's all these different styles, right? Because Arn was a more technical, like work on the body and everything as such. Then Sting, he could do everything, right? He could do the power game, he could do high flying, he could do this. Macho Man, his size worked for him because he worked with heavyweights, but he could also work with like smaller dudes, and
It's like what they did
then
on with the Dragon Steamboat.
yeah,
Probably one of the
and
Mm.
greatest matches ever.
Oh
and
yeah.
he did chain wrestling, but he's a high flying. He could do brawling. Then you got Liger, right? He was the Japanese style, but also it's so and Eddie, is one of the greatest. So if I were to choose a style, I would say Lucha Libre too, but
Hey.
because because it's just exciting to watch, right? This is like wrestling. Some ways it's very colorful. It's almost like you're watching a full action film, right? And there's always go 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 go, and sometimes but and it makes it exciting. You're watching comic books come to life. You're watching movies come to life. And the thing is that you can touch these people. You can give them high fives. You can say they can communicate back to you. That's the thing about,
When they're
and
in
that's the
town.
one thing about wrestling, right?
I
It's
know,
like
right?
When they're in
that's the
town, then
that's the great thing about wrestling. Like some of these wrestlers live their characters for so many periods of time. Robert Downey Jr. has to play Iron Man for how many years, and that's it. It's like I'm still Robert Downey. Roddy Piper, rest in peace. He's always Roddy Piper. You can always say, "Hey, what's up to him?"
even on the movies he
Undertaker,
worked on, he was Roddy
yeah, he was
Piper.
still
Oh
Roddy Piper.
yeah, definitely.
And Roddy Piper too. He's another guy. What was his style was just brawling, right, and getting, but he worked good matches. But if I would choose a style, it would be lucha libre, like
Hey.
a specific style, because it's just as I said, exciting to watch, and you can incorporate many different styles within lucha libre too, right?
With Lucha Libre now, which is funny that you say incorporate because they've also adapted the American style a lot
Hmm.
lately. Just as the American style has adopted a lot of wrestling, Lucha
Yeah.
Libre, I should say.
Mm.
So they're kind of fusing into each other, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Which makes it hard for us because we gotta adapt to both styles at the same time. Aren't like people like back in the days would like adapt to a style one at a time. Now it's like you gotta do lucha libre and wrestling here at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. So it makes it a little bit harder, but you gotta get through it.
Yeah, I think Ray did a good job, like writing the book on how to mesh both styles. So I think he's paving the
Yeah.
way for that. For the
Yeah.
rest of us
That's
too to
true.
be
Yeah.
good. Now, what's cool about wrestling for me? Wrestling empowered me for the movement, because each wrestler,
Hmm.
you own your character, you stand your ground,
Yeah.
and you make a big noise and be seen. Make a difference and win some moments, win some memorable matches. That's how I looked at the movement. I brought a lot of strength to the movement with my love of wrestling and
Yeah.
like who I am and stuff. So, is there anything you guys could add to like what's the similarities? Okay, let's end it with this. What's the similarities you guys have found with the wrestling and the movement? Because we also have the issue of artistic integrity, which I feel WWE as a company is kind of a lot strict on, because you have Vince McMahon
Yeah,
telling
let's
the
not get
refs.
into that.
No, let's get into it. I don't mind. No, but
Nah.
it bugs me that Vince McMahon has like a walkie or whatever, and he talks to the ref to tell him, "All right, break it up, get him in the headlock right now," or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, the little head,
So
the
I feel that
gorilla
that's
position.
too much like takes away from the art, and I don't agree with that. Whereas when we had AEW, I truly felt that was like a release of Snark moment for Western wrestling. And
You know, honestly,
yeah,
now that you
take it.
mentioned AEW, it actually kind of brought me back to like it's WWE literally killed a little bit of the little bit of the love that I have for wrestling, and because it
Mm,
was a little bit more of the the same stick every time, you know, it's like the same stuff over and over and over. You know, the Monday Night Raw open up with a talking segment, like,
Yeah, yeah.
and the first match we've been within the first hour and a half. There's only like two matches in a 3 hour show. It's like, come on now. It's like, what is this? So it kind of killed my the love that I have for wrestling. Is like, I literally stopped watching wrestling and completely in like for like almost 2 years because WWE is like the only thing that it was out, that it was really available until like YouTube, of course. But like, I wasn't gonna be looking for like, oh, let me look at this match, and it's mostly repeated matches. So,
mm.
but then AEW came out. Man, did that thing brought me back.
Hey,
I made the trip by myself to Vegas for Double or Nothing.
Oh,
you did?
sweet,
My
sweet.
boy
Yeah.
Simtar was at that.
Yes, I was there, man.
Oh, dang, two of my boys are there.
The funny thing about that is like I went without a ticket.
Hmm?
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I want to go to of course I want to go to the show, but I don't have a ticket, so I'm not gonna. I'm just screw it. I'm just gonna drive. If I'm pretty sure I'll find a ticket, but if I don't, screw it. I'm just gonna be there. I just wanna once the show is over, I'm gonna go to the arena and kind of get the feel of the people, the crowd. It's gonna be a buzz, so I'll be like, I'll be there. So I got there on Friday afternoon, and then you see all the people wearing their AEW shirts. It's like, okay, this is gonna be good. And then on Saturday, I woke up, went for breakfast, went on Facebook. I found some dude that was selling a ticket.
Oh,
So
nice,
I got in
nice.
touch with him. I was like, how much? We came to an agreement. It's like, all right, look, I'm gonna give you this much for the ticket, and then once I'm in, I'm gonna give you the rest. It's always my go-to for security purposes, because
Fair,
I
fair.
didn't want to get scammed. And so I was like, yeah, man, I made it in. I was like, here you go, man. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Good luck with the
wow.
show. And then I'll send you the pictures on Instagram or your phone number once this is done. I'll send you some pictures that I have still. But yeah,
Yeet.
man, I was there, dude. That crowd was electric.
Oh,
I was like, oh man, this is what it's all about, man. The crowd
Mhm.
was awesome. It's
dang. They just released a Snyder cut right there.
yes, it's literally like that, man. I was like, I had way more fun at Double or Nothing than I did at WrestleMania 31. That's how
Mm.
much that show was. That's how amazing that show was. It wasn't even probably not even the show. It's just the crowd itself.
Yeah.
On one part is what made the show like amazing. Like the show was great, but the crowd made it amazing. It was
Mhm.
awesome.
Ah, that's so good.
And then
Dang.
I was supposed to go to the last Double or Nothing as well, but
Wait, you were?
COVID.
I had tickets.
Yeah,
Oh,
but yeah,
COVID, right?
I had
yeah,
my release of Snyder cut sign I was going to bring to AEW.
yeah. But then that shit happened and no more.
Ah.
And the reason why I go on only to Vegas is I only drive. I'm scared of heights. I've never gotten in a plane, only like once.
Oh, snap. Okay, I feel
so
you.
I don't do the flights and stuff. Haven't grown the pair of cojones, as they say, so I
For a
just
high
sit on the
flyer,
ground.
one day you might have to.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Hey, I did say I like mat wrestling better. I like chain wrestling better. There's a reason for it, man. I
uh,
like watching high flying, but I like doing chain wrestling.
nice. How about you, Steve? Your any relation or connection with the wrestling experience during this whole Snarcut experience that tied
I
in for you?
I think there is because okay, let's when MCU had their franchise run, you can relate that so much to what WWE is, right? As the big player and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
is to show that, just because the platform, or okay, the pie is big enough for everyone. You get one side of it with MCU, but you got this other side that has, DC, what Zack was doing with DC films, right? And even you can look at it with wrestling, where you can have the big time player, you can have the big leagues or whatnot with WWE or whatever, but you have all these other promotions doing their thing. The game, the platform, the medium is big enough for everybody, and there are fans who want different things, who want variety, who want new stuff. Like I remember, remember when TNA was coming up, and when they had AJ, when they had Samoa Joe, Daniels, when they had AMW, when they
And they
had
had that
like all these,
octagon ring.
they had the Octagon ring, they had Elix Primetime, Elix Skipper, they had all these guys, World Elite, man. They
Yeah,
remember
The X
Nigel McGuinness
Division, the
came
good
on,
old X
right?
Division.
When Christian Cage came on, when Kurt Angle took the chance, like and
they
Jay
had the
Lethal,
first
all these
American
guys,
Women's
right?
Royal Rumble too.
They had all of these things. They had this alternative. It's to show that fans want different things. Just because one side may have the large monopoly of it, have the large portion of the pie, doesn't mean, there's still other slices that you can have. It's big enough for everyone. And if you look at the Snyder Cut movement, is that at the time everyone was saying, no, you got to do it like this, you got to do it like how Feige and MCU did, and you got to do it like all this. No, you don't have to. You stick to your own, path. And it's shown even with promotions, when they try to copy what WWE did for big time success, it didn't go that route. And let's look back at TNA when they brought Hogan and Bischoff in. They wanted to compete, but they brought in so many things that made it WWE second, WWE light, like it
2.0.
was 2.0.
Yeah,
Exactly. But if they
got
just stuck,
justice.
To their first
exactly,
formula.
they justice before justice even happened, if you think about it.
Right?
But
I
if
saw
they
the
just
signs.
stuck with what they had, and they had everyone, Joe, AJ, all these guys, they had who's the now Nick Aldis back then, right? They had everybody. They had all this great talent. If they just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, they would have. Who knows? TNA is still thriving. It's still Impact is still going, right?
It's
And they
really
got a
good,
lot of good
actually. I've
ideas.
gotten some
Yeah,
shows, and it's
Yeah,
I
it's
like
not
their
bad.
women's roster
RVD's
more
there too,
than.
right?
I think so. I think he's still there.
Kenny
But
Shamrock's back too.
there you go. ECW is another like example. When WWE and WCW was high, okay, what do I have? What does Paul Heyman have? I got Rob Van Dam. I got New Jack. I got Shane Douglas. I got Taz.
Sabu,
I got Sabu. Let me go the alternative.
Dudley's.
And it shows that, and they made a big noise where WWE and WCW started taking ideas from ECW, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it shows that there's always room for an alternative. There's always room to do something else and stick to your own path and do things that are different. Because fans want things that are different. Even though people say you got to do it like this, you got to be like this, you got to be like this model. No, fans don't like it. And it's shown with Justice League in that, and also with TNA when they started copying, being a lighter version or the second version of something else, fans didn't accept it because now you're taking away your identity. You're taking away what's hold true to you. And
Mm-hmm.
now look, so when you start, if you just stick to your identity, if you stick to what keeps you in the dance, which is what AEW is doing right now, they're doing something different,
they're, they're doing
right?
great.
They're catering to an indie crowd. They're catering to an online crowd with BTE. They're catering to old like Nitro fans, like WCW fans like me who grew up back then, and now they've become a real alternative to
And they're doing a
WWE.
cool thing. They're not ignoring
Yeah,
the wrestling world. Like they
exactly.
collabed with New Japan, had
Hmm.
Jericho go over there with the AEW title and all that stuff.
Which is something that the other company would never do. To them, it's just us.
Yeah, they're kind of like
Us.
Disney. They pretend everything else doesn't exist.
But
Yeah.
but also like WWE is also opening up because they're changing their stuff too, right? I mean,
Yeah,
now
now we
now
see it.
because of COVID, like they had to say, okay, what what do we have, and what can we do? I mean, look, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso. I like the storyline. Hurt
That
Business,
was good.
MVP is back. Hurt Business, all these guys, with Bobby Lashley, and then you got Mustafa Ali with Retribution, Bray
I
Wyatt.
got
Mustafa's my
I got
boy.
a little problem with that one, but because I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a
We'll
little.
Yeah,
another
yeah,
time.
it's like
That's another time.
We'll make
it's a
another
good
podcast for
idea. It's
that.
I like the idea of it, but
Right.
give him some wins at least, right? Like give
Yeah,
him something. But it shows that you don't have to because traditionally with WWE is they rely too much of what they know, or they
Mm.
rely too much of their long like,
Formula.
okay, let's give the title to this guy again and again and again, right?
Mm.
It's like, no, now we have to push new things. Now we have to really push these stars and really have, who do we have, and really push it. And I honestly think when Triple H really takes over, like, that's, he understands, right? He kind of understands like how this should go. But back to the main topic, it shows that fans want different things, right? Fans
exactly.
want different stuff. If you give them the same thing, they won't like it.
Yeah, yeah. The MCU is. I used to love it. Now that I've recognized their pattern, it's like,
Hmm. And that's
yeah, I don't
another
know.
thing too. When you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you gotta change it up.
Yeah. Even Endgame and Infinity War, I was like, it had some good moments, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I
I
suspect Disney has a little too many rules. Kind of like WWE has too many rules of what to do and not. And I feel it holds their films back because everything after, what was the last film they did under Paramount or whatever they had before? Was that
it was Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I think so. I read it.
You're talking
Okay,
about
I
other
thought Winter
MCU, right?
Soldier was the last one. But anyways, there's a big difference in the pace and tone, like drastic. I had got this little Pirates of the Caribbean pace with the MCU after that. And I was like, okay, I'll pass. But
I mean, I think
Like,
Vince is.
don't get me wrong. I still watch them, but
Yeah,
yeah, there's still cool moments.
I think Vince is like the same thing. Is that with Vince is like, if you think about all the stories back in the day in the 80s and 90s, like this is Vince, right? This is like pushing his. I mean, think about it. Would anyone today like allow some guy to put a snake onto another guy? Like this
poof,
is Vince back.
Not
This is like
really.
like we were
Twitter would
watching as
blow up.
kids, right? Like even like remember the funeral parlor scenes where they would put Warrior. I thought Warrior died.
Came
No,
with that dead body.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he was
I
clawing at the casket to
right.
come out. I was like,
I was so scared because I thought, oh yo, they killed Warrior. I was like, what? Or when Papa Shango put the voodoo on Warrior. It's like
One of
this
the
is
last moments like that I can remember is when Great Khali crushed sort of Rey Mysterio's skull. I don't know if you guys
yeah.
recall that.
oh
That's
yeah,
one
I
of the last
totally forgot about
that's
that.
one of the last moments I ever remember of them doing something that extreme, I would say. That's the last
Yeah,
thing for Rey
See,
Mysterio.
yeah.
I
Like
think
when
that
Bossman died, I remember that one. And when he
yeah,
that
I
tripped
think
me
that
out
like
too.
Vince is too shackled by it because it's public, but he
Mm.
does sneak things in there. It's like no, like I still know what's happening. I still can be creative. Like the Bray Wyatt John Cena thing. I match at the WrestleMania. I thought that was fantastic, man.
Mm.
I love that because it played so much from a storytelling perspective, right? It only works with Cena because of all the history Cena has and everything as that. Like if it worked
Golden
with
Shovel
anyone else,
Cena.
yeah, it's like it plays through so much of that storyline. That's the good thing about wrestling, right?
Hmm.
If you get a character, like say you got a longevity character like Undertaker or Cena that has so much history, you can play something like this, and that's the great thing. That's what made Hogan to be a turning bad guy so incredible because now he comes up and like all these years, brother, that you believed in me, you can stick it. It's like
Oh,
what?
I loved him as a bad
What? It's like, are you kidding me?
guy.
All these years, and what made it special because Bobby Heenan was there, and then he kept on
Oh,
saying, "It's like,
dude,
oh yeah,
Bobby
I told
Heenan
you, I
was
told you
something
all
else.
these years, you should have listened to me, Bobby the Brain Heenan."
Right? Oh,
Right?
that's
It was
good.
like you're playing on so much history, right? As characters. That's
Yes,
the beauty
yeah.
of wrestling.
Yeah, when they use history. I don't like when they ignore it. But yeah, 100, man. I even thought that match with Undertaker and AJ Styles for
Oh,
Graveyard one. I
that
thought
last
that
one
was
he
pretty
had, it
good.
was pretty good. It was
Yeah.
I was
entertaining.
impressed. I liked it.
It was entertaining, I gotta say. Yeah, I actually did dug it. I was like, it's different. It's not what I expected for the Undertaker's last match, but
hmm
That's okay.
So,
We just pop
I
those
popped
knees back
huge
in.
when
We
he
all
came
good.
out in the motorcycle. I popped
oh
huge.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. Hey, because the American Badass. I mean, it was American
It's
Badass.
like a fusion of both of them, which was
Yeah,
even
yeah,
better.
yeah. Exactly, because I feel like that's who he is. Because he's both the dark and he's both the, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like seeing him in his full. But yes, gentlemen, we're gonna call it. But I would like each of you to have the floor. Any last comments? Something you want to say to the Snyder Cut movement and our pro wrestling family out there? And I'll just let you guys say goodbye.
Well, I'll just say, let's keep fighting the good fight and get ready for what's to come. Maybe tomorrow Zack Snyder drops something, or by the time maybe this goes up, it's already happened. Who knows? But yeah, just keep on doing the good fight, fight the good fight, as we say. Keep
Yeah,
us
because we still got
us
people
united.
attacking it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna stop. Even if when it releases, it's still gonna keep going.
Mm.
But that should not stop us believing in what we believe and enjoy what we enjoy. You know, it's
Hey.
it's a film. It's subjective. Everything it should be fine, but there's limits
Mhm.
to how far you can take something. And just want to say thank you, Kojay, for having me. Sorry for all the movement and darkness. I'm
Nah,
in my
nah, it's
car.
cool, man.
It's
You're a
my first
star.
time
This is
doing
dope.
this, so next time I'll be more prepared.
Oh, I'm just
And
happy to
Steve,
have
it
you,
was a
brother.
pleasure meeting you.
Yeah. Same. Same.
And let's do this again sometime.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, oh yeah, we will. Steve,
Hmm.
take it away.
What for anyone who is still on the flip side about pro wrestling, just give it a shot because as I mentioned, it's like pro wrestling. It's a wonderful fusion of many things. And when you really connect with pro wrestling, whether it be a storyline, a character, or even a match or whatnot, or even the idea of pro wrestling, don't you'll find something special about it. And in fact, you might even be a fan, or even when we're allowed to go back to watching wrestling live, you may even go watch wrestling and experience it and say, you know what, this it really is something for me. As for this movement, as Miguel and Lord Kojay said, it's like we've kind of entered another phase of this, in that we've won the battle. We've saved the village, going back to that analogy again. But there's some people say maybe the village shouldn't have been saved. Maybe the village should have been banded and raided and being torn down.
Mm.
But we all know better, and we may disagree with others. And you know what? Maybe maybe the village won't acknowledge what you did, right? And that's a fact. But remember that the whole idea and the whole purpose is to see that we protected the village. And it doesn't matter how much you put in, or even if anything you do, you won't get acknowledged for it. They won't even know who you are. And even if you're listening to this, you might think that what did I do? Or like, how come I'm not in a certain spot after all the stuff I've done? Well, remember that it's not about you, right? It's about the whole idea of what we banded together for this, right? And that's
Exactly.
true. That's true allyship. That's the whole purpose of being a Ronin, I guess. Like, not to go into deeply into it, but that's one of the things of when you become a Ronin, you do it for honor, and you do it because it's right. So understand what you do is right. And you may never be known about it. Nobody may never know who you are. But as long as you know in here that what you did was right, that's all that matters.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
And in good time, if I find you, I'd like to hear your story. So this
Hmm.
saga
Check us out.
continues. The Voices of the Ronin. And
That's what
hey,
it is.
there's the
That's what it
tattoo.
is.
No, 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 no. Don't be shy. Come back here.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Look at that.
Hey, oh, I got the Wonder Woman insignia. Oh, that's, yo, I
Yeah.
showed that to
I,
so many people. They thought it was mine.
Yeah, it's got the Holy Trinity tatted on my arm
Hey, hey,
for
brothers,
life.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and we'll be in touch soon. And
Definitely.
hell yeah, I'll see you all in the next episode. And be good.
Take care.
Much
Yay.
love. And I'll hit stop recording. All right, I'll see you guys.
Amazing.
No, no, but this is another thing I want to add too, is because like this is where I feel the movement is like pro wrestling, because the movie Zack Snyder, and then us, we have this. It's like there's no barrier with. There's less of, or no barrier between maybe just a ramp barrier between fans and the art. Like we communicate. It's like the wrestlers here and we can communicate. Zack Snyder's
yeah.
here and we communicate. Like other stuff like Star Wars, for example, not to knock it. It's like they'll have a new trilogy, but the fans are last to know anything until the
Mhm.
product's out, and it's almost like they don't even have a say. It's whatever they're deciding back there. Not saying we're dictating anything of Snyder. If anything, we're just saying, yo, we want you to be you, and we know you.
Exactly.
We want to see you do the best match in the ring. We want to see your best film in the theaters without being tainted. And I think that's like a wrestling connection we have with Snyder. Like we're the audience, but we're also involved. It's very intimate.
Involved in the process of definitely more. It's definitely intimate. It's like
Yeah.
it's really it's for us there in the. It's hard to describe maybe to just onlookers there. Like going there, like I don't know how to describe it, man. This is more than a film, you know.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
more than a film.
It's like more than a film. It's a message.
hmm
Yeah,
It's something
it's
you hold
especially for
deep.
us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, that
Sorry.
was like I think it's the unfortunate circumstances surrounding it,
Yeah.
and also when there's something about Zach that's it's something pure and genuine. It's like I've never spoken to him. I've never I don't DM him. I mean, I would like to, but I never got a DM from him. I never have a Zoom chat with him or anything like that. Well, hey, or
I didn't want to bother you.
but like even without any communication with Zach, some reason I feel that if you were to ask me, would I was like, yeah, I don't know what it is.
Oh no, you're
There's
breaking up a
something
little bit.
about the guy.
Okay, say it again, but go back a bit.
Yep.
Ooh,
Oh,
my man is falling asleep. Connection issues, I guess.
yeah. Frozen on
Oh,
this little
oh, oh, oh.
face. Oh, oh, we got you. All right, go on. Finish
Oh,
your train of thought.
you're good.
Yeah. I was gonna say that even though I have no actual connection with him, and those who have, congratulations, man. Great for you. That's truly something special. Always hold that dear. But even though I haven't, I would, you know, it's weird to say take a bullet from him, even though I've never met him, because it's such a connection he has with us.
Mm,
And it's such a genuinity, it's such a special a radiance that Zach gives off, right? And it's hard to describe it unless you actually been in this movement, hear what he had to say, and understand of what these past 4 years has become. And I think when he gave that message to all of us, right, and when he said thank you, and then you see it in his face when he spoke to Fiona, when he spoke to Dexter on at fandom, you got the regular sound bites that any con does. But when you see him genuinely talk to these two, especially Fiona, right, it's something really special, and it's something you hold it in your heart. And it's a weird thing, especially to anyone. I'm sure there's people who out there who have never even communicated with Zach, or even say, "Hey, Zach," or he even communicate back with an emoji or whatnot. But you still hold a special bond with him, and that's why it's more than a movement. It's more than a movie. It's something that we hold in our heart. It's something we hold dearly within us. And that's what makes this fandom different from any other fandom. That's what makes this fandom where what we actually accomplished is actually some good. And even though, yeah, there is animosity within it. Yeah, there is some toxicity among it. Whatever adjective or verb, or whatever you want to label. But at the end of the day, we all believe it that it's for Zach. And as I said before, even if Zach never acknowledges you, or even if he doesn't know who you are, in the end, Zach is one of those rare good people, especially in this industry, man. In this, in any entertainment industry, there's all vultures and leeches and everywhere. Let's be honest. But Zach is one of those rare, actual good people, and that's why we stick up for him. That's why anyone who makes a tweet about it, I personally get offended and really riles me up. And it really angers me, even though I know it's a tweet. It's a stupid little tweet. It means nothing. I know why you're doing it to get clicks and traffic. But it still annoys me because how dare you make fun of Zach like that? How dare you? You don't know goddamn thing. That's why we stick up for this guy. And to see him happy and to see him actually finish his work and to see how much we've accomplished, that's whole thing. This is a moment in time that you hold it to your dear. You can tell your kids about it because we did change history. We did make an impact. So always hold it in within you. You don't have to be part of a clique. You don't have to be part of any group to know that you actually made a difference. And we are making a difference, as he said. How much money we raised for suicide prevention? How many? There's a life out there who there's a life out there who there's a person out there who's still living because somehow they found AFSP or whatnot, or because their awareness branching uh, system or whatever it is, whatever we want to call it, reached out to them. That's something special, man. Think about it. Because of supporting one person, we saved a life. We saved how many lives, right? I mean, you can't throw this away. You can't. So, if just know that you did really, we all did good, right? Tomorrow's another day, and, whatever comes tomorrow, let it come. But for the time being, we did good.
Hell yeah, bro. That's real. That's the gospel truth right there, man. And yeah, thank you for that. I think that's the truth that we're all feeling and that we need to hear and know. I love you, man. That's what's up. That's the truth. All right. On that beautiful note, y'all take care, for real. See you soon, man.